And so for today's episode of TYPRIFIC, I'm going to be discussing more types of the distorted thinking. You guys really liked my last video where I discussed catastrophizing and the shoulds. So today I'm going to be discussing polarized thinking and mind reading. Two more that I've actually identified with in the past, one more so than the other, but definitely something I've still dealt with and something I want to discuss with you guys to see if it's something you have a problem with, or something you could just recognize in yourself that you need to get better. Okay, got my handy dandy paper to help me to read from. It says, polarized thinking. The hallmark of this distortion is the insistence in dichotomous choices. Things are black or white, good or bad. You tend to perceive everything at the extreme and with very little room for middle ground. For example, you have to be perfect or you're a failure. Now this is something I have seen myself do at times. I wouldn't say it's something that I feel all the time now, but thinking in terms of extremes is something that I can definitely relate with, and I do sometimes, especially when I'm stressed out or feeling anxious. I think like very gloom and doom, like, oh my gosh, like if this doesn't happen, all this bad stuff is like gonna happen, or it's gonna be the best thing ever. That's just not really a balanced way to look at life. I think this was a perfect example. You know, if you're not perfect, you're a failure. And that is something I think even just that example a lot of people can relate to. You know, in school, if you feel like, you know, you got a bad grade on a test, it's like, wow, I'm the worst daughter, son, student ever, and I'm such a failure. And it's like, you know what? You're actually probably not a failure, and you're probably good at a billion other things. You just weren't good at that test. And I think people struggling with this type of thinking, you just need to learn how to take a step back and gain some perspective. Recognize when you're thinking in terms of extremes, and then just say, calm down, bring it down. Like let's bring these two extremes, find a middle ground that you are happy with and that doesn't stress you out and make you feel really crappy. Alright, and the next one is mind reading. With mind reading, you assume that you know what people are feeling and why they act the way they do. In particular, you are able to divine how people are feeling towards you. Mind readers jump to conclusions that are true for them without checking whether they are true or false for the other person. This is the one that I have found myself doing in the past because I'm so interested in psychology, because I'm so interested in behavior, and I observe people a lot and how they act. I get this tendency where I think I know everybody, and I think I know what everyone's thinking and everyone's feeling, and the fact is I don't. And even if I'm good at reading people, and even if I'm good at reading situations, I don't always know what people are thinking, even though I would like to think that I do. And then what this causes me to do, and people who struggle with the mind reading mentality, is you assume that everybody feels the same way that you do because that's how you would feel. And so you can't just assume because you think A, B, C equals D does not mean that the person you're thinking about thinks that same way. They could think completely different. I think people that struggle with mind reading tendencies, obviously I'm not just saying like psychic, I'm saying the mind reading mentality of distorted thinking, you should talk to people more often and give them a chance to speak about how they feel and what they're thinking, and don't just assume that they're lying to you. Assume that they're telling the truth and don't jump to conclusions. Jumping to conclusions, making assumptions, these are things that people that deal with this often do, and I am personally guilty of. And part of it is just humbling yourself and saying, you know what? I'm gonna let you be you. I'm not going to assume I know everything about you, and I'm gonna listen when you talk. That's how we're gonna be able to communicate better here. Those are my two types of distorted thinking today. Be sure and leave a comment down below letting me know which one out of these two you identify more with and what you've done in your past to get better at it, or if you're not there yet, that's okay. But yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts, and I look forward to telling you guys about more different types of distorted thinking because there's a lot of them. Give this video a thumbs up if you want to help me out, and help out the video if you like it, and I will see you guys here soon with an all new video. Bye! Alright, and if you want to check out my last video that I did about distorted thinking, you can click the annotation right here. And if you want to check out my daily vlogs that I try to post on a daily basis, feel free to click right here. And if you haven't checked out my District Line store, I have all sorts of catrific merch that you can check out and purchase and wear and send me pictures of and selfies and fun things like that. So hope you guys have an awesome day. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you soon.